I'm kidding, of course. The truth is, Donald Trump is he's a very talented person. I mean, the man can sing. The man can act.
Excuse me, where's the lobby?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks.
He can dance. He does impressions.
Yeah.
He is athletic.
Oh, shake it.
And he's not only an amazing artist, he also is an incredible poet, too. So much talent. So much talent. The only way he can contain it is to lock him.
If I can't beat out Jimmy Kimmel in terms of talent, then I don't think I should be president.
A moment that instantly grabbed headlines unfolded when the President of the United States stepped onto the red carpet, took the microphone, and made an unexpected comparison involving late-night host Jimmy Kimmel. It was the kind of remark that immediately caught people's attention. But what happened next turned the conversation in a direction very few viewers expected. Kimmel took that moment and responded in a way that quickly became the bigger story. Here's how the entire exchange unfolded.
But last night, they handed out the Kennedy Center Honors in Washington, hosted by Donald Trump. Donald Trump was the host of the show. He's been boasting about hosting, saying, we've never had a president host the Kennedy Center Honors before, which, yeah, why do you think that is?
Equated, that single exchange carries more meaning than it might seem at first. Kimmel's response was not presented as just another late-night punchline. It also touched on a broader conversation surrounding the event itself. The Kennedy Center Honors has celebrated influential contributors to American culture since 1978, and for decades the ceremony has maintained a tradition that separates political office from the entertainment spotlight. Throughout its history, presidents have attended in various capacities, but the role of host has not been part of that tradition. When Trump stepped into that position, it naturally sparked discussion about where those boundaries should be drawn. Kimmel recognized that conversation immediately and built his monologue around it, turning an already unusual moment into something audiences wanted to keep following.
Trump was obviously very excited to headline this once prestigious event. He even waddled the red carpet where he was all fired up.
How have you prepared to host tonight?
Well, maybe I haven't prepared. Maybe you want to be a little bit loose. If you look at the great hosts, Johnny Carson, Bob Hope, those are the greats. If you look at the not-so-greats, like Jimmy Kimmel, he was terrible.
Very hurtful. I thought we were friends. I don't know what's going on. He is really fixated. I'm starting to think he might have a crush on me.
One detail stood out more than many people initially noticed. Trump had been asked about how he prepared for the event, yet during his answer, he also brought up Jimmy Kimmel without being directly prompted. That unexpected reference became a focal point of Kimmel's response later that night. Rather than simply answering with another joke, Kimmel leaned into the moment and playfully suggested that Trump seemed to mention him quite often. It was delivered as comedy, but it also highlighted a pattern that Kimmel believed viewers might recognize for themselves. Whether audiences agreed with that interpretation or not, the exchange added another layer to the ongoing public back and forth between the two, and from that point forward, the story only became more interesting.
We never had a president hosting the awards before. This is the first. I'm sure they'll give me great reviews, right? You know, they'll say he was horrible, he was terrible, it was a horrible situation. No, we'll do fine. I've watched some of the people that host. Jimmy Kimmel was horrible. And some of these people, if I can't beat out Jimmy Kimmel in terms of talent, then I don't think I should be president.
Agreed. I'm with you. I don't think I've ever agreed with anything more than that. Do you think he even knows I've never hosted the Kennedy Center Honors? Maybe he's confusing me with Queen Latifah. And as far as this who has more talent thing goes, it seems like he's challenging me to a contest, which, if so, I'm open to it. Let's do it. Let's have a talent competition. I'll come out, I'll tell a few jokes, I'll draw something, I'll play my clarinet, he can play golf, spank a porn star, and ruin a country.
What made the exchange especially memorable was the way Kimmel interpreted Trump's own words. Trump appeared to frame his comment as criticism, yet Kimmel treated it as an opportunity to extend the joke instead of pushing back directly. Rather than debating the original point, he reframed it around the standard that had just been mentioned and built his response from there. In Kimmel's version of the story, the conversation shifted away from hosting ability and toward the comparison that Trump's own remarks had introduced. That approach transformed a simple exchange into a much larger comedic setup, leaving many viewers talking less about the original comment and more about how Kimmel chose to answer it. By that stage of the night, it already felt like the story had another chapter waiting to unfold.
Now, I'm kidding, of course. The truth is, Donald Trump is he's a very talented person. I mean, the man can sing. The man can act.
Excuse me, where's the lobby?
Down the hall and to the left.
Thanks.
He can dance. He does impressions.
Yeah!
He is athletic.
Oh, shake it.
And he's not only an amazing artist, he also is an incredible poet, too. So much talent. So much talent, the only way you can contain it is to lock him.
Kimmel's approach stood out because it relied more on irony than direct confrontation. Instead of responding with a straightforward attack, he leaned into exaggerated praise that carried an unmistakably sarcastic tone, allowing the audience to connect the dots on their own. That style of humor often leaves very little room for a simple response, because almost any reaction becomes part of the conversation itself. If someone answers, the exchange continues. If they stay silent, the original clip keeps circulating on its own. Kimmel structured the segment in a way that encouraged viewers to revisit the moment repeatedly, and many observers felt the closing joke tied the entire monologue together. Whether people viewed it as sharp political satire or simply another memorable late-night bit, it became one of the most talked-about moments to come out of the evening.
Can't beat out Jimmy Kimmel in terms of talent, then I don't think I should be president.
So much talent, the only way you can contain it is to lock.
The story began with the president stepping onto a red carpet and setting the tone for the evening, and it ended with a late-night comedian using those same remarks as the foundation for his monologue. Yet the bigger takeaway goes well beyond who delivered the sharper joke or which clip generated the most online discussion. It also raises a broader conversation about the role of the Kennedy Center Honors and why this year's event attracted so much attention. To understand that, it helps to look at the institution itself rather than just the television broadcast or the red carpet. Established in 1978, the Kennedy Center Honors was created to recognize artists whose work has made a lasting impact on American culture. Actors, musicians, composers, dancers, directors, and performers from many different backgrounds have been celebrated for careers that extend far beyond a single political moment. For decades, the ceremony developed a reputation for placing the spotlight on artistic achievement, even while public officials and political leaders attended as guests. That balance became part of the event's long-standing identity. When Donald Trump announced he would host the ceremony, reactions from parts of the arts community varied widely. Some performers reportedly chose not to participate, while several previous honorees publicly expressed concerns about the direction of the event. Others viewed the announcement differently, illustrating how divided public opinion had become. Those reactions turned the ceremony into more than a cultural celebration, because it also became part of a larger national conversation about tradition, leadership, and the relationship between politics and the arts. During his red carpet interview, Trump also mentioned Jimmy Kimmel while answering a question about preparing to host, even though the interview itself was not focused on late-night television. That unexpected reference quickly became one of the moments Kimmel highlighted during his monologue. Commentators interpreted the exchange in different ways. Some viewed it as evidence that the public back and forth between the two continues to shape headlines, while others simply saw it as another example of Trump's off-the-cuff style during interviews. Either way, the mention gave Kimmel fresh material before the show had even begun. Late-night television has a long history of responding to political figures. Hosts, such as Johnny Carson and David Letterman, regularly incorporated current events and presidents into their comedy, making political satire a familiar part of the format. Kimmel's approach follows that tradition, although many viewers have noted that his exchanges with Trump often continue across multiple public appearances and news cycles, creating an ongoing storyline that audiences recognize. In this case, Kimmel built much of his monologue around Trump's own comparison, treating it as the central premise rather than introducing a completely different argument. By accepting that framing, he structured his jokes as a response to the standard that had already been mentioned, allowing each punchline to build naturally on the previous one. Instead of relying on a single quick joke, the routine develops step by step before arriving at its final callback, a style of comedy that depends on timing, repetition, and careful pacing. Whether viewers agreed with the conclusions or not, many recognized the craftsmanship behind the structure of the performance. Beyond the laughs, the exchange illustrates how entertainment and politics increasingly intersect in today's media environment. Public appearances, interviews, comedy monologues, and viral clips now influence the same news cycle, often reaching audiences at the same time. Supporters and critics frequently interpret the same moments in completely different ways, which is one reason exchanges like this continue to spread across television, social media, and online commentary. The Kennedy Center Honors was created to recognize artistic contributions that endure beyond the headlines of any single year. How future generations remember today's political figures will ultimately be decided over time, but one image from this particular evening stood out to many observers. Instead of the ceremony being discussed solely for the artists it honored, much of the public conversation shifted toward an unexpected exchange between a president and a late-night comedian, demonstrating once again how quickly politics, entertainment, and popular culture can become part of the very same story.